Hello and welcome to the Light TV show. My name is Ifi Arono Kafo, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the very first edition of this dynamic variety TV show, the very first southeast of the Niger. Yes, and today we will be talking about something really interesting, so join us as we move on. One major problem affecting young people across the world is that of unemployment, and a lot of people go in search of gainful job opportunities. Now, population growth contributes to labor market imbalances, and some developing countries have been able to manage these inadequacies because they have proper welfare schemes. The case is different in the developing world, where the lack of jobs is a fundamental issue, and there are hardly welfare schemes to cushion the harsh effect of unemployment in the developing world. Now, when youths are left out of the productive industry and there is nothing positive to engage them, they resort to doing things that are negatively impactful on the society. Now, in many cases, youthful energies and talents that would have been utilized positively are channeled to the wrong things. Joining me now for a very timely conversation on emerging opportunities for gainful youth engagement is the Commissioner of Youth Empowerment and Creative Economy in Anambra State. Join me as I make welcome Mr. Afam Mbanefo. Thank you so much, sir. Now, recently, sir, you were at the Youth Summit, the Youth Security Summit in Anambra State. I saw your name as the host of that event, and lots of young people. Of course, I know it was organized by the National Youth Council of Nigeria in collaboration with the DSS. That's to tell us how critical the issue of security is. So, what prompted that move?
Well, the state, as you know, is referenced to be the most secure state in the country, primarily because the executive governor of the state takes security very seriously, and to economically develop an environment, one of the major areas you must have to think about is the security. So he knew that for his mission and vision of the state is to attract and make Anambra a safe haven for investment to thrive. For that to happen, you need to make sure that the environment is secure to attract investment. And so, but down the line, you would see that you need to engage every stakeholder. And for development to happen, and for us to also make sure that our youths, our millennials, as I call them, engage and not wither away in the environment, we need to make sure that the environment is safe and secure for them. Hence the need for my ministry and myself and His Excellency and all the security stakeholders and forces to partner with this to make sure that it becomes a successful process. And also down the line, you realize that if these things, the involvement of various activities of the youth that require cultisms and all those areas that require real punch, the security bosses embraced the state very well. I thought it was a good thinking in the right direction for the youths.
But then what's critical is we don't hear Traders Security Summit. And this time I really want you to touch on why the emphasis on youth this time.
Well, we looked at it as it's obvious that we are the future of our life. We have to decide and take this bull by the horn. For our future and for the youths who will believe in the future of tomorrow, to also see a safe environment to thrive on. There are areas of concern that we've witnessed, and to do that, they are part of the solid stakeholders of the environment that should be, part and parcel of what's happening. In the market, they already have their own securities as well.
Okay.
The way the state has structured security activities, it's basically making sure that all the stakeholders play a very good vital role. And information, I guess, is primary in driving security activities.
Absolutely, information is critical. Now, you spoke about the need for information. Do you also see a link between the security situation in a place and the level of gainful youth engagement?
Absolutely. What we have done also, which is fully backed up by the government and my boss, the chief executive of the state, is to utilize ICT as a platform to manage information that gets to all the security waters. But yes, the youths will play a very good role in this because most of the youths are very IT savvy. They can use smartphones, they can use some of those stuff, and you very much realize now that much of the activities in this world, social media has made it so together that you can cough and you'll never know you're coughing. So information flows both the good and the bad and the ugly, but you filter them out and get the best to work.
Okay, now that you mentioned ICT, what are some of the schemes that you're funding or maybe piloted to ensure that young people adapt social media and the ICT for positive reasons instead of the negatives?
Yes, a few things that we've looked at is we know that an idle man is a big devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
And also we need to be able to get the youth to begin to think. And for that to happen, one must provide the cap that they're going to put on their head as a thinking cap. You also need to address the environment to make it a lot more friendlier for them to operate. This is a polytechnic era that everybody wants everything to happen within short time. And so studying this mindset and the school of thoughts around the activities of the youth, you realize that ICT plays a very good role in managing this sort of thing. So what we have done is to engage various technological design and platforms to address what we want to do, gearing towards empowerment and capacity and looking at the value chain to make sure that it ends very well. So what we're doing, first of all, we initiated the capturing of youth profiles. We want in the next year, His Excellency has given us a 6-month target to achieve what we should achieve. We want to run transparency across all our activities. So in the next week or so, even the show that we had the other day, restriction has started. So profiling the youth, we also know who's their skill set, the academic qualification, their gender levels, their areas of specialties and interest, whether they have job or they don't have job. And by the time we profile this, it will give us a clearer picture of more like, I would call that a smarter way of us getting information across to the policymakers. Now, what we have also done is we have partnered with a company called Alliance. And what we've done is we developed a platform that he calls the Smart Jobs. And that's a platform that trains, empowers, and provides facility for youth to immediately begin to do business.
Wow.
So you go on the platform, you get trained. You go on the platform, you also submit your CVs, because what we're doing is we are also working in collaboration with Ministry of Housing and Ministry of Tourism. We are addressing all in the Anambra and Ndibo that have businesses both in Anambra and diaspora, and we're building this skill sets to be able to get the CVs of our youths interviewed, filtered, and posted on this environment. So these employers will begin to look at these individuals to pick up and interview them for jobs. So jobs will be available for also our youth through that means. On top of that, the platform would also now engage our youths, train them, give them the environment using the hospitality and transport and utility where they can trade, make money, and then get on with their lives. So you can sit at the corner of your house and you make your money. Lastly, we've also done what we call the Triple I initiative. ideally understood that it's difficult to capture most of our intelligent youths who are very creative and very innovative. So we have set out plans and real policy strategy to get on to the communities, down to the ward level, community level, to identify talented youths who have done a lot or created something or even thinking of something that they want to do but they don't know how to do it. So we've made ourselves available to capture these individuals. We will begin a trip around communities to identify these individuals and be able to bring them to fore. The idea is that some of these individuals, the state will empower some stakeholders who have seen a business interest in that development, will be able to get into that and fund those businesses. And so we will have lawyers who will be available to broker that sort of relationship so that your brand can still be what you are. If you design something you want to be bought off, an investor can see that and buy you off and then run your business, or take that idea and run with it, or you want to be part of the business. All this will put in together to make sure that the Triple I initiative works very well.
Okay, so irrespective of qualification, now another thing is, do I have to be on Anambra to benefit?
You mustn't be on Anambra. You live in Anambra. You must not be, once you live in Anambra, you are in Anambra. We believe that the environment, you're benefiting from the environment, and what you have, you can also give to the environment. So your civic rights and everything gets performed within the environment where you are. So we're not, we're keeping it open, yes.
Okay, so anyone can benefit. Now, another nagging question is, when you talk about engaging the youth, to you, from your perspective, what is youthful, rather gainful engagement? What do you think qualifies
well,
as gainful?
Gainful
Yes.
engagement is, to me, is when I'm able to identify a niche, or I'm able to empower a group of youths and design the chain that I have a proper closure and follow up. I want to be able to engage a youth and mentor them to a level where they're able to start mentoring others.
Okay.
That's the passion that we have. That's what we want to see. We want to be able to get the youth and train them up, empower them, or link them up to environments, bring out the talent out of them, and get them to also become role models to bring up other people. In all spheres, like we have a program coming on that we call the Star Search. Star Search will be going down through the communities we have in all the stars that will be available to engage this youth. So if you are good with your music, we have a musician who will be there. If you're identified, he will record the music with you. We have someone from the Nollywood, a couple of guys from the Nollywood. If you're identified to be good in that area, they'll take you on and record movies with you. So we want to be able to take on these individuals and create a sustainable flow to take them to a level where they'll be ready to also take on people to work with them.
You're still watching the live TV show, and we still have with us the Commissioner of Youth Empowerment and Creative Economy in Anambra State, throwing light on emerging opportunities for gainful employment, not just for youths in Anambra State, but for youths across Nigeria who are in Anambra State or who wish to come to join the flow. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is still the live TV show.